Welcome to Series 2, where we'll be exploring creative learning and teaching using digital video and digital audio on your iPad. By the end of this session, you will be able to create a digital video and be able to make an audio recording as well. It will raise awareness of the ways in which these two creative apps, GarageBand and iMovie, can be used generically in teaching and learning. This session is particularly relevant when we look at the FST priorities around enhancing learning and teaching and developing the role of students as co-creators of their own learning, also being able to use video and audio to evidence their learning. This is particularly relevant when we consider the move towards learning futures in September 2016 and the emphasis on inquiry-based learning and more independent study. In this session, we'll be looking at a small core of apps. First of all, we'll look at Safari and how we can use Safari to get images offline. We'll look at photos and how we can organize photos into albums. We won't touch on the camera, but we could be using the camera to collect images and video clips. We're going to assemble them in iMovie. And finally, we'll have a look at GarageBand and how we can create audio recordings. We'll explore some scenarios to ascertain whether iPad is the right tool for the purpose or not. We will look at how we assemble, refine, and share content using iMovie. Then we'll look at how we can create and edit audio recordings in GarageBand. And finally, how we could combine the audio from GarageBand in an iMovie project. As always, each session has an essential question. And here's ours for today. What needs to be in place for students to be creative learners? Here are some suggestions. Not only do we need tools that encourage creativity, but we need ready access to them. The environment itself, the room, needs to be safe. The environment and the culture of the sessions needs to encourage a feeling of safety where students feel able to express their own opinions and be more creative and, inverted commas, think outside the box. They need to be able to feel that they can take risks, and there needs to be an emphasis on the importance of failure and failure as something positive. The nature of the task itself needs to be more open-ended, where students can be more creative, instead of being given a highly prescriptive tight brief. This fits in with Learning Future's emphasis on an inquiry-based approach to learning. So what do we actually mean by creativity? It is very hard to define, but on your screen now is a QR code and you can scan it and it takes you to an article written in 2004, but the findings are equally relevant now. On your screen are some attributes and qualities that are normally associated with more creative thinking. And we mentioned earlier about the importance of embracing failure, because FAIL stands for first attempt in learning. On the screen now are two learning models. The first one is by Dr. Ruben Puentedura, and it's called the SAMR model. SAMR stands for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. And the purpose of this model is to explore the role that technology plays in enhancing and transforming learning. The second model is the revised version of Bloom's taxonomy. In this model, at a very low level, we could simply ask students to remember what they actually learnt. As we move through the different levels, the highest form of learning is when we get students to create something to evidence their learning. You may well want to explore SAMR and Bloom's taxonomy further in your own time. When you're ready, why not watch the next video? We'll be exploring scenarios to identify if the iPad is the right resource or not, and then we'll look at how to create, refine and share videos using iMovie.